The magical journey of creating My Neighbor Totoro. Introduction. Hello, animation fans and Studio Ghibli enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the enchanting world of My Neighbor Totoro. This beloved 1988 masterpiece, directed by Hayao Miyazaki, has captured the hearts of millions worldwide. But how did this magical story come to life? Join us as we explore the fascinating journey of creating My Neighbor Totoro, uncovering interesting facts and behind-the-scenes details along the way. The spark of inspiration. Miyazaki's childhood experiences played a crucial role in the creation of My Neighbor Totoro. Growing up in post-war Japan, he witnessed the rapid industrialization and urbanization of the country. This led him to create a story that celebrated the beauty of rural Japan and the innocence of childhood. The film's setting was inspired by the Sayama Hills in Saitama Prefecture, where Miyazaki had a country retreat. The lush forests, rice paddies, and traditional architecture of the area all found their way into the movie's backgrounds. Miyazaki once said, "I believe that the scenery of one's childhood becomes the archetypal landscape of one's heart." Interestingly, the idea for Totoro came to Miyazaki long before the film was made. In the early 1970s, he drew a rotund creature with pointed ears in his sketchbook, which would later evolve into the lovable forest spirit we know today. Character development. Let's start with the main characters, Satsuki and Mei. Many fans wonder who these charming sisters are based on. The truth is, they were inspired by Miyazaki's own childhood and his observations of children, but with a personal twist. Interesting fact number 1. Satsuki and Mei were originally conceived as a single character. Miyazaki initially planned to have just one girl as the protagonist. However, as the story developed, he decided to split the character into two sisters to better explore different aspects of childhood curiosity and wonder. Interesting fact number 2. The age gap between Satsuki and Mei mirrors the age difference between Miyazaki and his younger brother, Yutaka. This personal connection likely contributed to the authentic portrayal of sibling dynamics in the film. The girls' names also have special meanings. Satsuki is an old Japanese name for the month of May, while Mei is the Japanese pronunciation of the English word May. This connection to the month of May symbolizes growth and new beginnings, themes that resonate throughout the film. Now, let's talk about the star of the show, Totoro. Interesting fact number 3. The nature of Totoro as a creature has been a subject of much speculation. What exactly is Totoro? Miyazaki has described Totoro as a mixture of several animals, including tanuki, cats, and owls. This intentional ambiguity adds to Totoro's mysterious and magical nature. Interesting fact number 4. The name Totoro itself comes from Mei's mispronunciation of Toru, the Japanese word for troll. Miyazaki was inspired by the book The Trolls by Norwegian author Alf Preussen, which he had read to his young son. The evolution of Totoro's design is fascinating. Initial sketches showed Totoro as a more fearsome beast, but as the story developed, he evolved into the gentle giant we've come to love. Miyazaki wanted Totoro to be a creature that could be both awe-inspiring and comforting, reflecting the dual nature of the natural world. Other characters in the film also have interesting origins. The Catbus, for instance, was inspired by the Japanese folklore creature called the Baitniko, or monster cat. Miyazaki took this traditional concept and transformed it into the delightful, grinning vehicle that has become one of the most memorable elements of the film. The soot sprites, or Suzuwatari, were another creative addition. These little dust bunnies were based on the idea of house spirits in Japanese folklore. Miyazaki imagined them as shy creatures that would scatter when spotted, explaining the dancing dust particles one might see in a sunbeam. Story development. The plot of My Neighbor Totoro is notably different from many children's films of its time. There's no clear antagonist, no grand adventure, and no world-ending threat to overcome. Instead, Miyazaki focused on the wonder of everyday life and the magic hidden in nature. Interesting fact number 5. The mother's illness in the story was partly inspired by Miyazaki's own experiences. His mother suffered from spinal tuberculosis and was hospitalized for long periods during his childhood. This personal connection adds depth to the film's portrayal of family bonds in the face of hardship. The decision to set the story in the 1950s was deliberate. Miyazaki wanted to capture a time when the boundary between the human world and the natural world was more permeable before extensive urbanization. This setting allows for the coexistence of the mundane and the magical that is so central to the film's charm. Production process. The production of My Neighbor Totoro was a labor of love that took about 8 months to complete. Miyazaki's hands-on approach was evident throughout the process. Storyboarding. Miyazaki is known for his meticulous storyboarding. For Totoro, he drew thousands of storyboards himself, planning out each scene in detail. This approach allowed him to visualize the entire film before animation began, ensuring a cohesive and well-paced story. Interesting fact number 6. Miyazaki often works without a script, letting the storyboards guide the narrative. This organic approach allows for more fluid storytelling and the incorporation of visual ideas that might not translate well to written form. Animation techniques. Studio Ghibli's commitment to traditional hand-drawn animation is on full display in My Neighbor Totoro. The film's lush backgrounds were painted by hand, with careful attention paid to the changing seasons and the play of light and shadow. Interesting fact number 7. The film's backgrounds were created using a technique called gouache, a type of water-based paint that allows for both opaque and translucent effects. This technique gives the backgrounds their characteristic warmth and depth. The character animation was equally meticulous. Miyazaki insisted on capturing the subtle movements and expressions of the characters, particularly the children. This attention to detail helps bring the characters to life and makes their reactions feel genuine. One of the most iconic scenes in the film is when Totoro and the girls wait at the bus stop in the rain. The animators spent a great deal of time perfecting the rain effects and the reflections in the puddles to create a magical atmosphere. Interesting fact number 8. The umbrella scene was particularly challenging to animate. The team had to carefully choreograph the movements of the characters, the umbrella, and the raindrops to create the perfect sense of wonder and discovery. Sound and music. The sound design of My Neighbor Totoro plays a crucial role in bringing the rural setting to life. The team recorded actual sounds from the Japanese countryside, including the chirping of cicadas and the rustling of leaves, to create an immersive auditory experience. Composer Joe Hisaishi, a frequent collaborator with Studio Ghibli, created the film's memorable score. The main theme, with its simple yet whimsical melody, perfectly captures the spirit of childhood wonder that permeates the film. Interesting fact number 9. The famous Totoro roar was created by rubbing a leather purse against a contrabass, demonstrating the creative sound design techniques used in the film. Challenges and innovations. Creating My Neighbor Totoro wasn't without its challenges. The film's lack of a traditional antagonist or conflict was seen as risky by some producers. Miyazaki had to convince them that a story focused on the wonder of everyday life could be just as engaging as one filled with dramatic tension. Interesting fact number 10. The film was initially released as a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies, a much more somber war drama. This unusual pairing was a financial decision, as the studio wasn't sure how well Totoro would perform on its own. The depiction of the supernatural elements, such as the soot sprites and the kappas, required innovative animation techniques. The animators had to find ways to make these fantastical creatures feel both magical and grounded in the film's world. Release and reception. When My Neighbor Totoro was released in 1988, it received critical acclaim but had modest box office success. However, its popularity grew over time, and it has since become one of Studio Ghibli's most beloved and recognizable works. Interesting fact number 11. The character of Totoro has become an icon of Japanese animation, even featuring a Studio Ghibli's logo. This decision was made because Miyazaki felt that Totoro embodied the spirit of the studio, a blend of nature, magic, and childlike wonder. Legacy and impact. My Neighbor Totoro has had a lasting impact on animation and popular culture. Its celebration of nature and childhood innocence has resonated with audiences worldwide. The film has influenced countless animators and filmmakers, inspiring them to create works that capture the magic of everyday life. Interesting fact number 12. The film's environmental themes have made it a favorite among educators and conservationists. In Japan, the Totoro Forest Project was established to preserve the Sayama Forest, which inspired the film's setting. This initiative shows how art can have a real-world impact on conservation efforts. The characters from Totoro have become cultural icons. Totoro merchandise is hugely popular, and the character has been featured in various collaborations and public works. For example, a large Totoro plush welcomes visitors at the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, Tokyo. Miyazaki's reflections. In interviews, Miyazaki has shared some insights into the creation of My Neighbor Totoro. He once said, "I wanted to make a film that would make children smile. I wanted to make a film in which there were no villains, in which no one got hurt, in which everyone was nice to each other." This philosophy is evident throughout the film, which eschews traditional conflict in favor of gentle wonder and discovery. Miyazaki's ability to create tension and engagement without relying on antagonism or violence is one of the reasons Totoro stands out in the world of children's entertainment. Interesting fact number 13. Miyazaki has stated that he believes children are born with an innate sense of animism, the belief that all things in nature have a spirit. This idea heavily influenced the creation of Totoro and the other magical elements in the film. Conclusion. The creation of My Neighbor Totoro is a testament to the power of imagination and the skill of the artists at Studio Ghibli. From Miyazaki's initial concept to the painstaking animation process, every aspect of the film was crafted with care and attention to detail. This beloved classic continues to enchant viewers of all ages, reminding us of the wonder and magic that can be found in the world around us. It stands as a shining example of the artistry and heart that defines Studio Ghibli's work. Interesting fact number 14. In 2005, My Neighbor Totoro was voted the greatest animated film of all time by Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs. This recognition speaks to the film's enduring appeal and cultural significance. As we conclude our exploration of how My Neighbor Totoro was created, we're reminded of the power of storytelling and animation to touch hearts and inspire imaginations. Miyazaki and his team didn't just create a film, they created a world that continues to delight and inspire decades after its release. So, the next time you watch Satsuki and Mei's adventures with Totoro, remember the dedication, creativity, and love that went into bringing this magical world to life. And who knows, maybe you'll spot a soot sprite in your own attic or catch a glimpse of a campus racing through the night sky. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the creation of My Neighbor Totoro. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of animation and filmmaking. Until next time, may your life be filled with the wonder and magic of Totoro.